We want to bring people together who work with nature. Helps connect with like-minded people and imagine the impact that it would create. Governments and countries coming together to create electric vehicles as one of Hi, this is Amit Banka. Thanks Shantanu and thanks Climate Samurai for giving me this opportunity to speak with your viewers and readers. With WeNaturalists, the concept is very simple. We want to bring people together who work with nature and come together for a larger impact. Right? For that, we've created specialized tools, various commerce opportunities. We've created deep content and aggregated a lot of that from the global market, right? And brought various social media features for them to learn and grow and build things together. It helps connect with like-minded people. It makes them come together for a larger goal. Learn from each other, work towards better livelihood, and collaborate at the global stage. And I think that's what makes us very different, and because this is very action oriented approach towards dealing with a particular community. All this at one place, and imagine the impact that it would create, that when millions and millions of people who are working with nature can come together for their amazing work, and how they can build the nature as an ecosystem in a different way altogether. We actually work towards environmental issues in a very different way. It's a digital way of approaching towards this. The idea is to bring people together on a common platform at a single stage, so that their local efforts can be accentuated, they can be brought at the forefront, and with the help of specialized tools, with the help of various opportunities that are thrown at an individual, and at the same time the global presence for all these things really make a difference. With increase in visibility and exchange of knowledge, the work towards the environmental concerns have a much greater participation, and because of that the impact is also much larger. To be honest, WeNaturalist is not a social media platform, right? It's a combination, it's a confluence of content, commerce, various interesting specialized tools and features that allows people to go socially and in multiple ways to improve upon the work that they do and create a global impact. Connecting people as a social media platform is just the beginning. The amplification of efforts and the knowledge exchange is the main focus. This becomes more relevant platform for people working in nature, primarily because of its approach towards a holistic user journey for an individual when he starts from as being a naturalist or a jungle guide, and how he converts and trains himself to be much more relevant to the nature as a concept, as in for environment, for climate change and various other career opportunities, and over a period of time becomes a thought leader. I think the entire user journey is extremely well woven on the whole platform, and in addition to that, it's also important to understand how various other thought leaders would come together at one place to create larger impact, not only on the people who are associated with nature directly right now, but also with people who are working or maybe influenced by these people and make their careers in the field of nature. So I think that's where essentially our entire goal stands, and that's what we want to make a difference. While we were developing this particular concept, there were various challenges. Honestly, the biggest challenge was to understand the challenges this particular community face. By this community, I mean the people who are conservationists, nature guides, field guides, people associated with education in this particular field. All of these people, a diverse set of 150 to 200 different personas. But when you look at each one of them, their life cycle is very, very different. It was very difficult to understand all of that. And one can not deny at every stage while we were getting into this particular phases, it's very least understood sector, it's the least understood community, right? Because there's no deep research available around that particular sector. It was very critical to answer some of the questions that we were dealing with before we embarked on this particular journey. But creating a blueprint was extremely important before we embarked on the whole development stage, and that's I think was the main challenge that we faced while doing it. But this effectively, if I look back, it got much more simpler, it got much more easier while we started talking to them, while we started answering hundreds of questions at the same time. Plus the alignment of the team. I think we were fortunate enough to get the right team together to understand the entire space. Everyone resonated the same zeal with which we approached this particular community and created a very simple, very intuitive platform, as you can see right now. I have always been asked about our revenue model, and to be honest, it's a discovery. It's a stage at which we are in right now. We will discover it. We will move forward in a direction while dealing with the community, while making an impact on these set of people. Our research is on, and we are built to scale. We are built to sustain in this particular space, and for that, I believe that the revenue model will always evolve as we move forward in this particular direction. And this will also be important, that how we define our engagement, what kind of users are coming on board. Fortunately for us, today we have presence over more than 100 odd countries. We also have people from all these places who are from diverse backgrounds: conservationists, environmentalists, activists, field guides, nature guides, all these set of people who are creating diverse content and onto the platform. This huge amount of engagement that's still expected to happen. And over a period of time, I think the revenue models, or the models, right, would be clearer by the day. More so primarily because there is no similar stuff available for the community, and that's why we don't want to hazard a guess very early in the day. I think there are multiple actions which have been taken in the space of climate change or environment. There are people who are planting trees, there are people who are talking about climate change in multiple forms, and including agitations and dharnas going on. But I think we have taken a very different approach towards the environment, and I think that approach is more critical in the today's environment. Why? Because I believe awareness creation is paramount, and awareness is what will change the way we look at our environment, we look at our surroundings. And there are several examples that how deep-rooted awareness has given a different motive, different perspective to the world to live on, right? And I think this is a very important part, that why did we approach it in this way? And I think by bringing people together is the only way that you can create a unified voice, right? Because just one tweet, one blog, one Facebook post, or creating any kind of noise around that is never going to be enough for the kind of challenges that we are facing for future. But I think if all these things are unified, are coming together at one particular place, it can have a totally different impact altogether. And I think over a period of time, that will come in place, and there are several examples of certain communities coming together and how the world has changed, or how it's made an impact to the world. It's very early stage for us. We are still technically in a testing phase in one form. Fortunately, the model which was alien to the world a year and a half back, while we were discussing with the community, has been received exceptionally well. We've got amazing reviews and testimonies from different parts of the world, and fortunately for us, all of them have been extremely encouraging. Numbers wise, we are doing reasonably well. As I shared, we've reached almost 100 odd countries. Number of users wise, we are in the range of around 8,000 people to 9,000 people who have tested us in one form or the other. App downloads have been very minuscule because we've recently launched a couple of weeks back, and I think we are gradually moving in that direction. I think the most important thing would be for us to reach out to this particular community as much as we can and explain them the concept well. We are reaching out to these people both on an online and the offline space, in the offline space, by reaching out to them, explaining them the concept, taking them through the whole journey, and that has made a serious amount of impact at bringing these people in this particular platform. We've always been asked about all the action that is taking place in the space of climate change, which is primarily driven by a lot of governments and countries coming together to create electric vehicles as one of the newer modes of transport, and there's huge amount of impetus on that. It's a global movement, and no doubt about it. And I think we are talking about technologies which have already got billions and billions of investments already in place. I believe that for any development to take place, there is always a consequence. We have to learn on those consequences very early in the day while we embark on the investments in these kind of developments. But at the same time, the most critical thing that I feel is awareness around that particular development and the consequences around it. I think adequate awareness creation at the grassroots can actually create or minimize the impact or the negative impact of any such development. WeNaturalists is probably one such place where the community and everyone can discuss the impact, create measurable matrices, and possibly bring awareness to the world, right, in a very, very different form, and where everyone can coexist and share their opinions around these kind of things, and a lot of thought leaders can take views where they can promote the harmful or the mitigants to these particular in these particular areas. Coming to the question that you have posed related to the education system and what can be done to primarily work towards the environment at the grassroots level, I think I would not put that we have a fault in our education system. It's a bit too harsh, but I think there are creative alternatives to plastic, and each of these hazardous materials that we typically end up using, which are bad for the environment, have alternatives which have been innovated in some form or the other, but they lack commercial use. Once the commercial application is clear and it's fair to the pocket as well, right? I think we need to go to the grassroots level and create awareness, create proper alternatives, which are justified alternatives to their prevalent benchmarks right now. And I personally think education and awareness would be a huge catalyst in creating a plastic-free world, or any other impact that can be caused by any hazardous material. And I think there are several examples of these kind of awareness campaigns which have which have been prevalent in our country itself. So I think there is awareness and education will go hand in hand, but it has to have a absolute grassroots level implementation. And I think there's a long way to go on that. Thank you, Shantanu.